Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Judas behind the camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. We are making mee goreng today, which is a fried noodle dish that is just full of deliciousness. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe for more simple food ideas. We're using beef today, and I have about 300 grams, which is approximately 8 to 9 ounces. And I'm using a sirloin tip today. We're gonna cut this up into thin slices. We're gonna slice it up into thin slices, about 1/8 of an inch thick, if you can. I already put this in the freezer for a little bit to make it easier to slice through. Otherwise it gets too wobbly and then it's hard to slice when the meat is too soft. So just put it in for about 20 minutes or so before you're gonna slice it. Wow, that's like a lot of meat, way more than what you would get in a restaurant if you were to order noodles there. Like 20 bucks a plate, you probably get like, I don't know how many slices of meat, not this much for sure. We're gonna marinate the meat a little bit. I'm gonna use about 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of rice wine. And if you don't have rice wine, you can use Shaoxing wine, which is also rice wine, or just use another teaspoon of soy sauce if you don't have any. Also going to put in about a teaspoon of cornstarch. And a new trick, well, not new because I haven't shared it with you yet, sorry. I'm gonna put in a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and that's supposed to help with softening up the meat so that it's more tender. And I'm also adding about a tablespoon of water. Right, you don't wanna add too much baking soda because it can become bitter. But we want the meat to soak up all of this sauce. So I'm gonna massage it with my hands just until all of it is absorbed. So that took about a minute, and you can see all the liquid has been soaked up by the meat. So we're just gonna let this do its thing while we prepare the rest of the ingredients. Moving on to the aromatics, I'm using 2 small shallots. I don't know, maybe they're not small, medium size. Just gonna slice it. If you don't have shallots, you can use just a regular onion, a small onion, and just slice it up. I'm just gonna transfer it onto a plate. We're using 3 cloves of garlic. You can use as little or as much as you'd like. Crushing them helps to chop it up faster and easier. Sometimes I take out my mallet and smash them, but sometimes I just squish them. Depends on how strong I feel that day, I guess. I like to chop up my garlic because I find that it doesn't burn as quickly. If you use a garlic press, sometimes I find that the garlic comes out too fine. All right, I'm using 1 green onion, and this is just for garnish, so I'm just gonna slice it up. I am using a bok choy today. This is Shanghai bok choy, and Shanghai bok choy is a little bit more green, not white on the bottom, and I just have 2 of them here. Some of these leaves already fell off, so I'm going to take off some of the bigger leaves, and then we're gonna cut it down. And I'm just gonna cut in half. All right, that's a lot of vegetables as well, but we're making a lot of noodles today, so this is perfect. And this is only 2. I also cut up half a lime, and that's to squeeze the juices over the noodles at the very end. Also using 2 eggs. Just gonna lightly beat them. can add more eggs if you want. You can omit them if you want, totally up to you. Moving on to the sauce, we are using a sweet soy sauce. It's also known as ketchup mayonnaise. We're using 3 tablespoons. And this is different from like a dark soy sauce because it is sweetened. It's almost molasses-like. It's a very unique type of flavoring. So if you can get your hands on it, it really is worth it. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, just regular soy or light soy. 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is also unique in flavor. You can find a vegan version made out of mushrooms if you're like really anti-oyster, but it really does add that depth of flavor that you won't find if you don't use it. But of course, if you can't find it, don't use it, or you don't have it, you don't want to spend money on it, by all means, just leave the other ingredients as is and omit it. Also using 2 tablespoons of ketchup. This is the ancient Chinese secret. I age myself when I say that, I know. For spiciness, we're using a sambal, and we're making a Southeast Asian dish today. I'm only using about a teaspoon. And most of the ingredients, well, not most of the ingredients, the sambal and the ketchup mayonnaise are popular in Southeast Asian cuisine. So if you're not familiar with those ingredients, maybe that's why. I'm just gonna stir this up. Oh, one more thing is to add a teaspoon of, or 2 teaspoons of sesame oil. I can smell that sambal. Smells so good. Of course, you can add more as you like, or less, or omit it altogether if you don't want it spicy at all. We just want a little bit of heat. Right, that's it. Now we're ready to cook. As some of you may know, I am working on a new cookbook that is all about noodles. So this recipe is definitely going in there. I'm using these fresh yellow noodles. They are also referred to as oily noodles. Well, that's what it says in Chinese anyways. But here they're also referred to as yakisoba noodle or a thin noodle. I just prepared them according to the package, which was to just heat them through for a minute in boiling water, and then they're ready to stir fry. Right, let's get our wok heated up to a medium high. Once you see that wisp of smoke, add your oil. I'm using about a tablespoon of avocado oil today. And we're just gonna get our eggs cooked. Remember, when you use a hot stainless steel pan and you add your oil once the pan has been heated up well, nothing will stick. Look at that. Okay. Transferring the eggs back to the bowl. Adding another tablespoon of oil. And we're going to get our beef going. Just want to let it sear for about a minute so that it gets a good flavor on one side before moving it around. You see that brown on the meat? That's what we're looking for. When the beef is about 70–80% cooked, I'm going to add a little bit more oil because I see it's dry down there. And then I'm going to add my shallots and garlic. Cook that for about 30 seconds and then move your beef back over it, and we're going to cook it through. I'm going to get my noodles in there. I'm going to pour my sauce in. Want to make sure that the noodles are all covered with the sauce. Then we're gonna add our vegetables. This is why I like using a wok, because then we can move the ingredients around quite easily. And you want to cook until the vegetables are wilted. It'll take about 2 minutes. If you don't have a wok, you can always use a large frying pan. It'll still get the job done. All right, once the vegetables are wilted, we want to add our egg back in. Just chop it up. Mix it through. Adding some of the green onions in there. And that's it, guys. Turning off the heat. I'm gonna get this in a bowl. All right, let's get this into a bowl. Okay, now I've got a pretty small serving bowl here. So this is a serving bowl, not like an individual sized bowl. So I'm gonna get about half of it in here. And there's still like all of this in the wok. And the lime is for squeezing on top afterwards. Put a little bit of green onion on top. And there you have it. Mee goreng with beef and bok choy. Are you ready for
the taste? I'm Dude, and this in a line of noodles from a part of the world that I'm from, Southeast Asia. I'm from Malaysia, and mee goreng is, well, you can put any protein you want in it. I don't know, another combo is like chicken and shrimp, but this is beef. We've gone upscale, a little bit bougie. You know, this portion is like still smaller than what's left in the wok. That's like, dude, you're not gonna get that kind of portion in the restaurant. How good's my chopstick skills? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of lime. Right. That's good. I mean, you could add more of the heat with extra sambal in the sauce, and you can add it afterwards too, to your taste. This is, right now it's got the nice flavor of the ketchup mayonnaise. That's got that sweet note that you're not gonna get with, I don't know, any other sauce that I know of. Altogether, definitely super Southeast Asian vibes. That's different from like a lo mein, like a Canto noodle. And yeah, just lots of flavors. Noodles are one of the equalizers in terms of cost of food nowadays, and you still get the flavor. And you don't need a whole pile of protein. Look at this. You still get great beef, great taste in like mountain of noodles. Do it.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. This whole wok of noodles is still like less than 12 bucks to feed your whole family. Before the cookbook comes out, you can check this recipe out on FLO'S.com.